The Automat Kalashnikova, or Kalashnikov's automatic rifle, model of 1947, is a 3-star AR that's available from light and heavy production at a timer of 3 hours 20 minutes, or from drops from stages 2-4 onwards. During the Second World War, Nazi Germany produced what is widely regarded as the first successful assault rifle, the Sturmgewehr 44. With the first actual assault rifle either being the Fedorov Automat or Ribeirolles, depending on who you ask. The STG-44 left an impression on the Soviets, as the STG was select fire, chambered in an intermediate cartridge, and combined the power of an SMG with the accuracy and range of an RF, leading the Soviets to develop an AR of their own. To do so, the Soviets developed the 7.62 by 39mm M43 cartridge in 1945, which was used in the SKS, AK, and RPD platforms. However, the idea of the AK-47 came from much earlier in 1941, where the father of the Kalashnikov, Mikhail Kalashnikov, was in the hospital recovering from a shoulder wound from the Battle of Bryansk. Kalashnikov stated that when he was in the hospital, a soldier beside him asked why the Soviets had one rifle per 2 to 3 soldiers, while the Germans had automatics. So Kalashnikov designed one. He was a soldier and created a machine gun for a soldier, and it carried the first year of its manufacture in 1947. Kalashnikov started work on an SMG design in 1942 and an LMG in 1943. In early 1944, Kalashnikov was given some 7.62 by 39mm M43 cartridges. It was suggested that he use this new cartridge as well. This had Kalashnikov develop a new rifle that used the cartridge. Later on in 1944, he submitted a semi-auto carbine, which lost out to the Simonov SKS design. 1946 had a new design competition to develop another rifle, with Kalashnikov this time submitting a short-stroke gas piston rifle with a breech block and curved 30-round magazine, with his submissions being the AK-1, a milled receiver, and AK-2, a stamped receiver, and overall these prototypes being labeled the AK-62s. As the rifles were being tested, one of Kalashnikov's assistants, Alexander Zetstev, suggested a major redesign to improve reliability, with Kalashnikov being reluctant at first due to how far he was ahead of the competition, before giving in. By 1949, the Soviet Army adopted the AK-47 as the 7.62mm Kalashnikov rifle. There are 4 different types of AK-47, those being the Type 1A/B, Type 2A/B, Type 3A/B, and Type 4A/B. The Type 1 had a stamped receiver, with the 1B being modified for an underfolding stock and was produced from 1948 to 1950. The Type 2 was a milled receiver from a steel forging and had a distinctive socketed metal boot that connected the stock to the receiver, and was produced from 1951 to 57. The Type 3 was the quote-unquote final version of the milled receiver made from a steel bar stock, with the mill lightning cut being slanted to the barrel axis, and was produced from 1955 to 1959. The Type 4 was an AKM receiver stamped from a sheet of steel and went into production in 1959, though was likely replaced by the AKM fully. Though the AK-47 is cited as the most produced firearm of all time, it includes the AK-47 and its derivatives. Realistically, the most produced firearm would likely be the AKM or AK-74, doubly so if you include their derivatives. The Kalashnikov automatic rifle, model of 1947, is a gas-operated, closed-rotating bolt assault rifle which fires the 7.62 by 39mm cartridge from a 20, 30, 40, or 75-round magazine at a rate of 600 rounds per minute out to a range of 350 meters. In her character art drawn by Glycerize, AK-47 wears an outfit similar to that of a Soviet infantryman. She wears a very high-cut tank top that's tied at a point in her cleavage, black short shorts, camo chaps, white long gloves, and black knee-high boots. She has a satchel behind her with an RPG-43 anti-tank grenade, 2 magazine pouches around her midriff and under her bust, a ripped and ragged red scarf around her neck, a red hammer and sickle and star tattoo on her right shoulder, a cartridge in her teeth, and a red beret with a star pin on it. Her beret being red denotes she's either military police or, more likely, internal troops for the MVD, aka the Spetsnaz. She holds her AK, which is actually an AKM, with her right hand on the stock and left hand on the front guard. In her voice lines voiced by Sato Rina, who also voices Kyo Bachika in Gurren Lagann, Mikoto Misaka in Scientific Railgun / Magical Index, Shura Kirigakure in Blue Exorcist, Vert in the Hyperdimension Neptunia series, Hayato Kawajiri in JoJo, Makoto Nijima in the Persona 5 games, Queen Hilling in Ranking of Kings, Esser in Tien in Grand Blue, Ruka Tatiarai in Precon, California in Tennessee in Azure Lane, both Skades and Vulcan in Arknights, Eula in Genshin Impact, Guilty in Nikkei, and Konoe Mina in Blue Archive, AK-47 is quite cheery.
やっと私の出番ね。弾を地球に当ててみせるよ。ふん、私がいるんだ。みんな、安心してくれ。うひゃー、力がみなぎってくるぜ。行くぞ。一緒に一儲けだ。よう、戻ったぞ。なかなかの収穫だったぜ。楽勝楽勝。おととい来やがれてんだ。え、ボス。そんなこと他のやつにしたらどうだ？けど私たち今までなかなか気が合ってたぜ。まあ私で手を打っとくのもいいかもな。
Like some ARs, AK-47's main role is increasing her damage and accuracy for a short period of time. Her singular tile buffs one SMG, buffing their evasion by 18%. She's best positioned on tiles 1 through 6, though realistically you'll be placing her on tile 7, 8, or 9 due to her tile placement. At level 10, her skill, Concentrated Assault, has AK-47 buff her own damage by 35% and accuracy by 100% for 5 seconds. This has a 5-second ICD and 8-second NCD. With no equipment or crits, she does 72 damage. With crits, she does 107 damage. With no equipment, her accuracy is raised to 70. When fully linked, enhanced, and level 100, AK-47 has 132 HP per link for a total of 660, consumes 60 rations and ammo, deals 53 damage, has 34 evasion, 35 accuracy, 65 rate of fire, 10 move speed, a 20% critical rate, and deals 150% damage on a crit. AK-47 is able to equip telescopic sights, hollow sights, red dot sights, night vision, suppressors, HV ammo, microchips, and exoskeletons. The recommended equipment for AK-47 is her spec, the KST-SP, which was obtainable as a reward for being in the top 10% during the hypothermia event, which may be available through the Gray Zone in the future, though a 5-star scope works as well, 5-star HV ammo, and a 5-star light exoskeleton. This gives her plus 20 damage, plus 20 evasion, plus 48% crit rate, and plus 44% crit damage. This brings her stats to 73 damage, 54 evasion, 68% crit rate, and 194% crit damage. Her skill now does 99 damage without crits and 191 damage with crits. I don't know if this runs into the ceiling or not, but there you go. AK-47 will probably be used by new players for all of like 3 seconds before they get better ARs like M4, Star, M16 from chapters 3 to 6, and then promptly dump them. Going over the very brief amount of pros, AK-47 does have a decent amount of HP and evasion for an AR, as well as having an interesting skill that not only buffs her damage, but also her accuracy, and a spec that gives a gigantic buff to both crit rate and crit damage. But that's about all the good things there are about her. Her accuracy is terrible, her tile, singular, while giving a decent amount of evasion, is better off being sacrificed to the gods due to its poor placement. She actively relies on having her skill to make sure she even hits anything, and even then she'll be waiting 5 seconds to get it to use the buff. Her spec is the stuff of myth and legends at this point due to it A, being limited, and B, only being available early on to my knowledge. She might do decent damage if she's in an echelon with like AK-47M or other guns that buff her accuracy, as 74M's skill switches the buffs for AK-47's skill, 100% damage, 35% accuracy buffs, but even then, both ain't great. As I said previously, just use the AK-47 until you get better ARs from either drops or construction. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter for updates, and please check out my other Arknights and Azure Lane videos as well.